All righty, folks, we are just about ready to get started with the last game of the tournament. Little salt and pepper mashup game. It might be the most exciting game we've had today with players from all the teams. It's going to be good.
All right, ready to go. I'm going to announce the team in the dark jerseys. Team Pepper, they are 024 Zen, 10 Sid Vicious, 101 Jinx, number 11 Painbow, 167 Virus, 21 Sugar Rush, 23 Brawly Pop, 30 Maya Sora, 32 Acid Rain, 365 Phoenix, 462 Barracuda, number 67 Tough Little Cookie, 73 Lithium, 813 Mullet, 84 Chemical X, number 9 Slam Punk, and 666 Waffles. We are off right away with Phoenix in the dark with the Jam Star going up against Track Mamba in white. Track Mamba out first. Phoenix now clear of the pack. Track Mamba on the scoring run. Around turn number 2, past 1, getting hit up. And now Phoenix is in the pack. Called off. We'll see what our final scores are here. We have 3 points for Team Salt, and looks like 0 for Pepper as we end our first jam.
And in the white jerseys for Team Salt, number 100, Fantastic Mr. Fox, 119, Liz in Fear, number 015, Violent Beatrix, 151, Beetle Kill, 202, Fatal Error, 22, Doombringer, 23, Belladonna, 29, Catatonic Bomb, 25, Apex Twin, 31, Trick or Treat, 345, Sleepy Pumpkin, 616, El Diablo, 7797-789, Stormy Sea, 88, Track Mamba, 9, Black Hole, and 2319, Roller Reina. And Apex Twin is jamming for the white team, and for Pepper, Slam Punk, who's made it out in front, but Apex Twin is catching up fast. Slam Punk smashes past the side of the defenders and calls the jam off. Looks like they did get all 4 points there.
Right, Trick or Treat in white up against Maya Sora in black. Salt down 1 skater in the penalty box. Both jammers to the inside. Isora taken out to the inside track. Good hits there.
Liz in Fear.
Liz in Fear with some really good inside blocker. But Myasora is out, but not just behind Trick or Treater. Trick or Treater is your lead jammer, though. And it is just about neck and neck race. I believe so. Both teams. No, it looks like 4 points go to Pepper and 0 to Salt.
Quick jam there. Close scores here, of course. Looks like we have an empty penalty box. So full set of 5 each team. We've got Sleepy Pumpkin jamming for Salt, and Phoenix is up for Pepper, and they're starting hip to hip at the beginning of the jam. That's the whistle. Phoenix takes to the inside lane. We've got 1 flying blocker, but Phoenix made it through and will be the lead jammer. Sleepy Pumpkin recycled back, but finds an opening in the inside lane, so Sleepy Pumpkin is through right when Phoenix gets to the back of the pack for 4 quick points and calls off the jam.
All right, quick jams to start this game off here. We have 616 in white. That is El Diablo. No, they are going to be a jammer switch. They have 797 Dash going up against Slam Punk in black. Now both teams starting up right up at that jam line. So going to have a lot of contact right at the beginning here. Both jammers are off. Slam Punk with a lot of weaving and juking and trying to get through, and does. For lead is here is Slam Punk. Dash to the outside. Now being held up by Pepper. On the scoring run now is Pepper. And Slam Punk calls that one off just as Dash just got through the pack there. So have another 4-0 jam in favor of Pepper.
And queued up, we've got El Diablo is going to jam for Salt, and Maya Sora is up for Pepper. And off they go. Maya Sora to the outside. Spin move, knocked out of bounds. El Diablo crashes through the wall of defenders and comes out in front as lead jammer. Some fancy footwork there by Maya Sora, manages to stay upright and is through on a scoring pass as well. So they are on the move. El Diablo is trying to catch up to the pack. They're moving fast, trying to make some openings for El Diablo. El Diablo calls the jam off. Let's see, we've got 1 point score there, one for each jammer from that jam.
All right, Roll Arena in white and Phoenix in the dark color jersey. Penalty box is clear. Both jammers crushing it. It is Phoenix out first. Roll Arena being held up by Pepper's line, but now finds a way on the inside and through. Phoenix on the scoring run, closing in on the pack. Swings to the outside, gets on through, calls it off. See if they got all 4 points. They did.
Quick jams there. These jammers really making good use of the ability to control the clock. We're going to have Slam Punk up for the Pepper team and Catatonic Bomb for Salt. And here they go. Catatonic to the inside. And Slam Punk found a way through at the front. Nope. Catatonic Bomb is whipping around. Looks like that was a... Got a few skaters hit the deck here at the back of the pack. And Catatonic slips through at the beginning, or at the head of the pack, 4 points. And Slam Punk called the end of the jam.
Very quick jams here. Right now we have Pepper ahead 24-8. Mysore out there in the dark going up against number 15 in white.
Violent Beatrix.
Violent Beatrix. So it should be 0-1-5. I see. 0-1-5. Violent Beatrix for Salt is the jammer against Mayasora. Both jammers slamming into their respective defensive walls. And a whole lot of shoving action at that pivot line now. Lead still open. Mysore goes down, back up on their feet. Pushing is Violent Beatrix for a lead. As one of the Salt pivot goes to the penalty box. On the scoring run now is Violent Beatrix. Mysore not clear of the pack yet. However, Violent Beatrix being brought and recycled back. Looking for some offensive help now is Maya. Still getting pushed by number 25. That is Apex Twin doing a really good job doing some one-on-one blocking on Maya. And that penalty gets called off, and looks like we have ourselves a power start. I saw the signal for a power star. Make sure of that. No, that is incorrect on my end. There is no. Looks like there's some people in the penalty box, but neither of them is a jammer.
And Phoenix is jamming for Pepper up against Doombringer for Salt, and Doombringer is out in lead. Sweeping around the bottom track here. Phoenix is still trying to get past that wall of Salt defenders. Doom finds an opening in the inside lane for 4 quick points. Phoenix shoved up against the rope but made it pass. So Phoenix is now on a scoring pass, and Doombringer is in charge of the clock here with lead jam status. Tiptoes past some defenders, shoves through, gets those points, and calls the jam off. 8 big points for Salt, and looks like Phoenix was able to get 2 out of it for the Pepper team.
We have Track Mamba in white against Slam Punk in black. This should be a fun jammer fun jammer duel here. These are 2 very interesting, quick, fast jammers that can weave their way through packs pretty well. So interesting to see who comes out on lead first here. Mamba to the inside. Go weaving back and forth with Slam. And now, a lot of going to the inside. Both jammers to the inside now, and Track Mamba being brought back, and it is going to be Slam Punk. That is going to be your lead jammer. Track still trying to find a way through. Big daylight on the inside. Slam Punk sees it and gets through for 4. And we have ourselves a star pass. Track Mamba passes it off to 202. That is fatal error. Meanwhile, Slam Punk making some good work on the track. 4 more points for Team Pepper. Being held up by Belladonna now is Punk, and the rest of the Salt team joins. Meanwhile, fatal error, putting his shoulder down, trying to get by Pepper. It is going to be recycled back. That was Barracuda with a hit out. Salt blocker goes to the penalty box. And now we have ourselves some good hard-hitting derby action. A lot of shoving going on. Fatal error still trying to get through. And Slam Punk is going to call that one off. They were able to score 12 points on that with Slam Punk, and man, they worked hard for all of those. And lining up at the jam line, Apex Twin for Salt and Maya Sora for Pepper. The defenders settle down up against line, and got some bouncing bodies here. No one's making headway yet. Maya Sora found an opening on the inside, though. Quick footwork stays upright, and Maya Sora is the lead jammer. Apex with successful star pass to number 31. That's Trick or Treat. And with that, Pepper calls the jam off. Quick 4 points there for Pepper. El Diablo out there against Phoenix. Phoenix in the dark, El Diablo in the light. Now both teams get up close to that jam line. Slamming right into the pack are both jammers. Phoenix, some footwork to the outside. Will they get lead? Yes, they will. It is Phoenix as your lead jammer. El Diablo fighting for it and gets through. Phoenix looking for some points. Slams in, calls it off. Drew a multiplayer call. That'll send one of the Salt players to the penalty box. All 4 points scored by Phoenix on that one. Really drilled themselves into the pack to get those.
We're going to have Slam Punk jamming for Pepper and Fatal Error up for Salt. And here they go. Both jammers take to the outside lane, shifting to the inside. Fatal Error is tiptoeing around. Almost made it pass, but looks like Slam Punk finds an opening to get through. Slam Punk is lead jammer. And we saw Fatal Error go flying out of bounds. Looks like they're coming back in. And Slam Punk got recycled back as well. Sees an opening in the outside lane, takes it. And there's Fatal Error trying to get past, but Slam Punk is going to end the jam before any points are scored for the Salt.
All right, we approach the halfway point of our first half. Dash and Light going up against Maya Sora and Dark. It's like Pepper will be, no, it'll be Salt starting with the blocker down at the penalty box. We are off. Dash to the outside, Maya to the outside. Both are stopped. Maya being drawn back. Dash putting a shoulder down into the Pepper tripod. Barracuda doing some offensive work for Maya. But it is going to be Dash that is out first for a lead. Maya out of the pack. Dash approaching the pack, looking for some points. Maya coming in for some points. Hard goes right into the tripod, does Maya. Dash calls that one off. 1 point for Salt and 0 for Pepper. So coming up 1-0 for the team Salt.
Phoenix will be jamming for Team Pepper, and looks like Trick or Treat is up for Salt. And the defenders are going to give a little breathing room here at the start of the jam. Off go the jammers. Trick or Treat through the inside, made it look easy, cut right through there, is going to be the lead jammer. Phoenix is trying to dodge their way through the defenders to get out of the pack. Meanwhile, Trick or Treat has come to the back of the pack, ready to score some points. Goes low, gets past the defenders, past the last one, 4 points, and Phoenix made it through and will be on a scoring pass of their own. So here they come, and Trick or Treat is going to end the jam before Phoenix can get there to the pack.
Sleepy Pumpkin and White going up against Slam Punk and Dark. Both teams lining up right at that jam line. Want to halt that momentum right from the start. Sleepy to the outside, almost through, but it is Slam Punk that gets out first. Being recycled back by Mullet is Slam Punk. And meanwhile, making quick work of the pack is Slam Punk. 4 points on the board for Pepper. Slam Punk goes in, weaving around for more points. The Sleepy Pumpkin gets out. Now past the pack is Slam Punk. Sleepy Pumpkin in. Getting around on the outside for all 4 points is Sleepy Pumpkin. Slam Punk now coming in and around, looking for more points for Team Pepper. It's like have a multiplayer call. It's going to send one of the Salt team members to the penalty box. Sleepy Pumpkin, 4 more points. Slam Punk coming in. Looking for a screen, getting it. Calls it off. Looking for the whistle. There it is. Meanwhile, Sleepy Pumpkin throwing themselves into the pack. And they got 3 points out of that. Great job, Sleepy Pumpkin, not giving up to the very end.
Great jam. 16 points and 11. Pepper still maintaining the lead, but it's not a big lead as far as Derby goes. Violent Beatrix is going to be jamming in the light jersey for Salt. Mayasora is up for Pepper. And both jammers get squished between the blockers. Great defense by Roller Reina, throwing Mayasora way out of bounds. Violent Beatrix back to the back of the pack. And Mayasora comes out in front as the lead jammer. Beatrix trying to get past. Comes down, takes a blocker with them. Mayasora spin move to get past the defenders, just down to the pivot, and got past for 4 points. So they are off. Violent Beatrix has made it through the pack and is on a scoring run. Here comes Mayasora to the back of the pack. Got a few defenders going down, and with a little spin around 180, Mayasora calls the jam off.
10 minutes left in our first half. And we have number 29 in white. That is Catatonic Bomb going up against Phoenix in dark. I think Pepper will be starting with one blocker down. All right, neither team's starting up at that jam line for a change, giving each jammers a little room to get a head of steam before slamming into the pack. Let's see who comes out first. It is Catatonic. No, it is Catatomic did come out first, but right behind them is Phoenix. And now we have a race around the track. Both teams showing great speed. Catatonic may reach the pack first and does. Calling in for points. Number 23, I believe that was Belladonna, knocks out Phoenix. Meanwhile, still fighting for points is Catatonic. Catatonic free of the pack. Meanwhile, Phoenix, one more to beat and does. 4 points each. Both of these jammers really fighting their way for these points here. Phoenix met with some resistance, jumps around it. Catatonic calls off. We have 3 points for Pepper, 1 point for Salt on that final run. So Pepper is up 7-5 total.
We've got Slam Punk going up against Fatal Error here at the jam line. The defenders are a ways off. They gradually creep back towards the jammers. There's our whistle. Slam Punk dodging to the outside, falls down amid some defenders, but pops right back up, pushing, shoved to the inside by the defenders. Salt. So both jammers going to take another go at it. Here goes Slam Punk to the outside. Fatal Error gets knocked out of bounds on the outside lane. Slam Punk squeezes through there. Will take the lead jam status, and there goes Fatal Error through the pack. So the pack is on the move. Here comes Slam Punk. Good shoulder hit there from Salt, and Slam Punk is going to end the jam. One point for Pepper from that last jam. They snuck one out.
All right, Track Mamba for Salt up against Mayasora for Pepper. Penalty box is clear now. Both teams are starting right up at that jam line, so it's going to be a fight for that lead right from the whistle. Maya to the inside and gets on through, but let's see, Track was right there. It is Maya that is lead. And Maya calls that one off. Wow, that was a burst of speed from both those jammers. Yeah. 0-0 jam, but still fun to watch for how quick that was.
Yeah, got everyone up to speed and then put it into it. So we're going to have Phoenix jamming for Pepper and El Diablo in the light jersey for Salt. And here they go. Phoenix to the outside. Finds a way through. Phoenix is going to be lead jammer. El Diablo goes down with some defenders, but back up on their feet. Still trying to get through on an initial pass. Phoenix is back, goes to the inside. Fancy footwork there, gets past a couple defenders and made it past the last one. So 4 big points for Phoenix. El Diablo getting shoved to the outside of the outside lane there and has to come in for another go. Bouncing off those defenders. El Diablo falls to the out of bounds. And Phoenix slips through for another 4 points. Looks like we got a penalty assessed to one of the Pepper blockers. So they'll spend a half minute in the penalty box. Phoenix squishes in there, gets past a couple defenders. They recircle, form up in front. And still fighting hard to get through. El Diablo has made it through for 4 points. And it looks like Phoenix did find a way through for 4 points of their own. And Phoenix will call the jam off. That'll bring Pepper's score to 93 and Salt to 41.
Trick or Treater is out there for Team Salt going up against, once again, we see Slam Punk for Pepper out there. And we are off. Trick or Treater with a quick burst of speed. Try to get up through and does. Trick or Treater is lead. Slam Punk being met up by Fatal Air, but able to find a way through. Now it is Trick or Treater with a dip inside, slides out, calls it off, scores 2 points.
And Pepper's going to be down 1 blocker here at the start of this next jam. Maya Sora is jamming for Pepper, and Apex Twin is up for Salt. Both jammers eyeing the pack to see where they can find an opening. Both take the inside track. Apex Twin goes to the outside, finds a way through. Apex Twin is the lead jammer. Maya Sora squeezes around the outside, gets nudged out finally at the end. Recycled back as Apex Twin comes around for the first scoring pass of this jam. Good toe work there and makes it through the defenders for 4 points. Maya Sora's made it through too and will be on a scoring pass here. Apex Twin approaches the pack, zips by on the outside lane, calls off the jam. 1 foot and spinning backwards somehow called the jam off. 7 big points for Salt there.
I dash out for Salt. Phoenix for Pepper. Right now we have a 93-50 game. It's 2.5 minutes left in the half. Pepper in the lead and Salt is threatening. So both these jammers now slam into the pack. Fighting for that lead jammer position. Salt slightly ahead, but that does not mean that they're going to easily take this lead as Team Pepper is right there to rotate there. But no, it is Dash with some quick moves to the inside to get by all those Pepper defenders and take the lead. And now Pepper's through the pack. That is Phoenix. Dash coming in hard. Calls it off. Scores 2 points in doing so. And we are just about at 90 seconds left in our first half.
Lining up, we've got Doombringer for Salt and Slam Punk up for Pepper. Looks like the penalty box is empty, so everyone's on the track, but we have a team timeout called
Looks like it's an official review being called.
Official review. All right. That we will sit tight till we see what's going on.
So this is the last game of our tournament this weekend. So once we get things going here, we'll still have about a minute left of game time to go. And then you can head over to the concession stand and get some Bonneville Beatdown merch to commemorate Bonneville Beatdown 2026 here at the Derby Depot. This will be the last one we hold at the Derby Depot since we're losing the space, unfortunately. And hopefully we can find a new one soon enough so we can keep hosting these tournaments.
And we want to thank the sponsors for our tournament, the Pie Pizzeria, been a long-time sponsor of roller derby in Salt Lake, 187 Killer Pads, the Derby Warehouse, and Dick's Sporting Goods. Great sponsors helping make this possible for our young people. Alrighty, we've got a verdict. The official review will be lost. They were looking for a cut track call, but the player in question did not go out of bounds. It just went down, so no penalty issued. They lose their official review, but with only a minute left in this half, they'll soon have another one back. Slam Punk out in front as the lead jammer, but here comes Doombringer right behind, catching up quick. Slam Punk going in a lot of speed there, slips through the outside to get 4 points and calls the jam off.
Oh, we got time for one more jam, at least one more jam on the clock. Sleepy Pumpkin back out there for Salt, going up against Maya Sora and for Pepper. Pepper starting right up at that jam line. Salt's gotten a little bit back, trying to catch these jammers. Maya Sora up front, 2 to beat, and does so. Some nice juking and weaving. It is Pepper with the lead, but Sleepy makes their way through. Maya now threatening to score. Takes to the inside track, slams hard against, I believe that was number 29. Catatonic bomb, but able to get all 4 points. There is Maya Sora for Team Pepper. And that brings us to intermission. It is Team Pepper up 101 to Salt's 52. So game that is well within striking distance for Team Salt as when we come back in 15 minutes. Remember, visit the concession stand, buy your Bonneville Beatdown merch, and come back for the second half of the final game of the Bonneville Beatdown.
back to it. We've got El Diablo jamming against Painbow. And Painbow tiptoeing on the inside, tiptoed out of bounds. Same for El Diablo. Quick to get back in, though. Spin move by Diablo, gets past and will be the lead jammer. Coming around with a quickness here as Painbow takes another attempt to get past the pack. There's is an opening on the outside lane. So Painbow coming around on a scoring pass. El Diablo topples to the ground and calls the jam off before Painbow can get in there and get any points. Looks like 3 points there for Salt.
All right, some new jammers out there. We have 666 Waffles for Pepper. They're going up against Dash and White for Salt. Waffles to the inside, Dash to the inside. Waffles pushed out, but right back in. Dash putting a shoulder down, trying to bust through. Waffles with 2 to beat, up on top. Now joined by another Salt member. Dash stuck behind a tough tripod of Pepper. Meanwhile, Waffles being drawn back by Track Mamba and Belladonna. Lead is still open. This is going to be a tough jam here as the second jam of our second half. Keep in mind, all these players have been playing all weekend long. We have a multiplayer call that's going to send a Pepper blocker to the penalty box. Dash being recycled back. Waffle still pushing up on top, still trying to fight for that lead, and they are going to be drawn back. Right back on the track, though, are both of these jammers, still fighting to get that lead. We are past the 1 minute mark of this jam.
Tough.
Seeing
defense.
some room is Dash, and they take it, and they are lead. Black Hole stopping Waffles down just past turn number 1. Now Dash on their scoring run. Past a couple of the Pepper blockers. And a successful star pass goes to Team Pepper, and that is going to be Slam Pump with a lot of speed going through. Meanwhile, for all 4 points is Dash. Dash calls it off before Slam Pump can score any points. So Team Salt here with a pretty good showing on these first 2 jams of this second half. Looking to threaten that lead that Pepper had going for him.
Up next is Sleepy Pumpkin for Salt and Chemical X out there for Pepper. Here come the defenders. Meet them at the line. They're off. Both jammers take to the outside. Chemical X goes down. Sleepy Pumpkin almost made it past and did make it past the last defender. So Sleepy Pumpkin's going to be the lead jammer. Chemical X trying to find a way through. Dodging side to side. Get some help from their own teammates. Still stuck in traffic. Sleepy Pumpkin comes through the inside lane on 1 foot to score 4 points. And it looks like we've got a star pass for Team Pepper. So Phoenix will be the new jammer and wasting no time trying to catch up to the pack. Sleepy Pumpkin calls jam off on their way to the ground, but did make it before Phoenix was able to score any points. So 7 points for Team Salt, slowly chipping away at that lead.
Yeah, Salt on a bit of a run here in these last 3 jams. They're going up against Violent Beatrix for Salt. It's taking that jam star, going up against number 11. That is Painbow for Pepper. Painbow up on top and gets lead. Breaks the streak that Team Salt had going for it. Now Painbow now on a scoring run of their own. Violent Beatrix trying to find a way out of the Pepper blockers. Just about gets there, but it is Sid Vicious right there with the stop. Meanwhile, 4 points for Pepper as Painbow's coming around, looking to add to that score. Nice dip to the outside, takes a hit, stays in, 1 more to beat, and 4 more points. Violent Beatrix has made their way through. Painbow on another scoring run by 1 defender. They call that one off. They were able to just score that 1 point, but that is a 9-0 run for Team Pepper.
So far, both teams been able to stay out of the penalty box. Apex Twin is going for Salt to the jam line, going up against Zen for Pepper. Defenders are right there. There's the whistle. Both jammers go to the outside. Zen tries to bully through the middle. Apex Twin sees an opening on the inside and takes it. Zen with the lead jammer, but look out. Here come, I'm sorry, Apex Twin for the lead jammer, but here comes Zen right on their tail. Pack is moving fast. Who's chasing who at this point? Apex Twin trying to catch up. Zen keeping pace. Round and round we go. Apex Twin decides to call it off before Zen can get up there and score. Looks like 1 point there for Apex before the end of the jam.
All right, Trick or Treater out there for Salt going up against Waffles of Pepper. Both teams starting up at the pivot line. Now drawn back towards the jammers. And we are off. Oh, Waffles to the outside. Quick feet and through for lead. But Trick or Treater is right there. See what Waffles does with lead as they round turn number 1. Head slam into the pack. They call that one off. No points for either team on that.
Close game here for the final game of the tournament. We have Fatal Error jamming for Salt and Painbow up for Pepper. The defenders settle back down right up close to the line. There's the whistle. Fatal Error gets nudged out of bounds on the outside. Painbow dodging left and right, takes it to the inside, and Painbow is the lead jammer. Bodies hit the floor back here as Fatal Error ducking around and makes it through the pack. So, little flying jump for Painbow and calls the jam off before Fatal Error can get close to the pack. Great quick 4 points there for Pepper.
During the break, they were practicing those apex jumps, and looks like that practice paid off there. Dash back out for Salt up against Mullet for Pepper. All right, dash to the outside. Mullet trying to shoulder their way right through the middle. Dash up front. Mullet not far behind, but trapped in a vicious tripod of Salt defenders. And yeah, it is going to be Team Salt that gets that lead. That is Dash out in front. Mullet being dropped back. On a scoring run now is Dash. Dash has their own problems to deal with, and now we have a successful star pass. No, not a star pass. They're going to hand that back. Now the star pass is completed, and a slam pump is your jammer for Pepper. That is going to force Salt to call. But they did get all 4 points on that, did Dash. So successful run for Team Salt.
So 43-point lead for Pepper. 20 minutes of game time left. Plenty of time for the score to change. For lead to change, we have Waffles jamming in the dark and El Diablo in the light. There they go. El Diablo cuts to the middle. Waffles trying to get behind their pivot there, but El Diablo is out in front to be the lead jammer. And Waffles ducking around the outside, getting past a couple of them, but now they put the brakes on that. Looks like El Diablo's got some trouble there and gets past the last defender with a little spin move for 4 points. Waffles crashes into and over a defender. I'm sorry, that was Phoenix into and over and draws a penalty. So Phoenix, with the star cap in hand, is headed to the penalty box. El Diablo weaving through the defenders for 4 more points. So a minute left in this jam, and the Pepper team without a jammer. El Diablo crashes into the defenders, takes one down. He pops back up. El Diablo pushing hard against those last two in the defensive line. It's like they got El Diablo out of bounds, so they're going to get recycled way on back here. Eating up some time for the Pepper defender to get in. El Diablo hits the deck. Phoenix is back from penalty town. The spin move gets through the pack and will be on a scoring pass now. But El Diablo is going to pull the plug on that, end it before things get too far. 12 big points for Salt in that jam, cutting the lead down by a good third.
All right, Sleepy Pumpkin for Salt against Chemical X for Pepper. We are ready to go, jam number 10. Chemical X, quick to the outside, but no, stopped right there. You get the name on that is Beetle Kill with the stop. Meanwhile, Sleepy Pumpkin to the inside. That is Chemical X. That is out for Pepper. Lead to Pepper. Now Sleepy Pumpkin's out. Chemical X coming around. Onto the outside now, up the middle. Being halted by the Salt defenders. Pumpkin coming in. That was called off. See if before any points were scored. 2 points scored by Pepper, 0 by Salt. So 2-0 in favor of Team Pepper.
That was an interesting start there. It looks like Pepper failed to field one of their skaters, and that means if they're not on the track when the whistle blows to begin the jam, then they are just down one person. So now they got the full complement out there. Pepper defenders right up on the line. No breathing room for Violent Beatrix. And Painbow as the other jammer. Painbow getting shoved to the inside. Beatrix looking for an opening on the outside. Pushing, shoving, goes to the inside. Can't quite make it. Painbow putting on the fancy footwork, dodging around, spinning past the last defender. Painbow is the lead jammer with amazing footwork to get past there. Violent Beatrix, little backward skating action, gets past their jammer, or their defenders, and off they go. Painbow slips through for 4 more points and closing in fast on the pack. Painbow to the back of the pack, eyeing the skaters to find a way through. Fake to the inside, goes to the middle, come up short. Juke past the last defender, spin move, get around, 4 more points for Team Pepper. Violent Beatrix trying to shove through those defenders. They keep reforming around. Meanwhile, Painbow flying in from the side, but went a little too far and is recycled back to the back of the pack. There you go again. Violent Beatrix held up by a tough tripod of Pepper. And Painbow manages to get through for 4 more points. Coming around, zipping past the defenders quickly for 4 more. Bodies hit the floor there in the pack. Beatrix goes to the ground, comes back up. Looks like Beatrix drew a penalty there. So they are headed to the penalty box. And Violent Beatrix is going to ride the rest of this jam out.
All right, penalty start for Team Pepper after a big 20-2 run there by Painbow. That is Mullet taking the star for Team Pepper.
And power start for Team Pepper.
Yeah, Salt's down a defender and a jammer at the beginning here. Both teams starting way up front. Mullet's got a bit of speed on them, though, so they're looking to burst through, and they do, and take lead quickly. You know, all blockers are out there for Team Salt now. Mullet calling for some offense. Salt racing forward, though, not letting that offense overtake them. Good strategy. Now Mullet's into the tripod, slamming into it. Got a Track Mamba, Belladonna, and looks like El Diablo there to stop him. It's a pretty solid wall there. Mullet spins on through, though, for the first 4 points.
Oh,
no, there was a penalty on that. So
Toe went out of
Violent
bounds
Beatrix out on the track as Mullet goes to the box, and this is going to go the full 2 minutes. Still 1 minute left in this jam. So no points on the scoreboard for Team Pepper. So this is a chance for Salt to put themselves up on the board and come ahead on this jam. And on through is Violent Beatrix. Now on the scoring run. Mullet back out on the track. Both defenses ready for those jammers as they slam into those walls. Mullet on their feet. Beatrix down but not out. Right back out on the track. Oh, whoa. Beatrix sees the inside, takes it, steps on right through, but Mullet finds a way on the outside.
Oh,
and Mullet with a hard hit. And we're going to call this one off.
A little injury on the track here. Let's let the medics come tend to the skater. And back to the action. Waffles will be jamming for Pepper. And Black Hole up jamming for Salt. Quick feet from Black Hole gets through as the lead jammer, but Waffles is right on their tail. Whipping around the corners here. Picking up speed. Into the pack they go. And Black Hole smashes into the defenders and calls the jam off. Looks like 2 points went to Salt and 4 to Pepper. Fast and furious jam there.
Right, Apex Twin out there for Salt up against Zen for Pepper. Penalty box is clear. Track Mambo with some offense at the start. Zen juking around, trying to find a way. Well, Zen shoulder down, but no, El Diablo is right there with the hit out and the recycle, and it is Apex Twin with the lead. Acid Rain giving some offense to Zen. Meanwhile, on their scoring run is a Apex Twin. Already got some points on the board, trying to clear the track. Hard hit into Acid Rain, and they get clear of the pack for 4. We have a successful star pass. Acid Rain is now the jammer for Pepper. Meanwhile, on another scoring run is Apex Twin. 4 more points, 8 on the board for Salt. Quick to the outside is Apex Twin. 12 on the board. Acid Rain still trying to find a way through. 1 to beat. No, is brought out by Track Mamba. Apex brought out as well. Both jammers being brought way back past the jam line. And now the burst of speed comes Acid Rain, and they are through the pack as 4 more points were scored by Apex. Apex opting to keep on running this jam. Calls it off after getting 1 point on the board, I believe, yes. So that will be 17 total points for Team Salt.
Big rally there from Salt. We're looking at a 36-point difference now. Just under 10 minutes of game time left. Got an empty penalty box. Painbow jamming against Catatonic Bomb. There they go. And Painbow pushing to the outside, Bomb to the inside. Painbow still up. It's shoved back, but skates are still up, so they are still upright. Catatonic Bomb going side to side to try to get through. Painbow found an opening and takes the lead jam status. Bomb with quick footwork gets past the defenders, so Bomb is on the move. Painbow slips through the inside lane, scores 4 quick points, and calls the jam off to push their lead up to 40 points ahead now.
Chemical X out there for Team Pepper going up against Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat to the outside, quickly taking that lead for Team Salt. Chemical X to the inside, weaving back out. Brought down by El Diablo. Trick or Treater on the scoring pass, tries to make the apex jump, doesn't clear it. All skaters on the track now. Chemical X on through the pack as Trick or Treater scores 4 points and calls that one off.
So Team Salt eating away at that lead just a little bit more. We're going to have Sleepy Pumpkin jamming for Salt, and Waffles is up for Pepper. Looks like the defenders are not going to be allowing much breathing room here at the start for the jammers. A little bit of shifting before the whistle. There they go. Sleepy Pumpkin pushing and shoving, taking down the pivot of Pepper. They're quick to get back up. And Sleepy Pumpkin finds an opening there. Sleepy Pumpkin for the lead jammer. Waffles getting shoved around back here. Takes another go at it. Trying to get past that wall, but can't quite make it. Sleepy Pumpkin falling over defender. Back up on their feet. And didn't quite make it through on the inside, so Sleepy Pumpkin's recycled back to the back of the pack. And Waffles has made it through the pack and is on a scoring pass now. Pumpkin looking for an opening. Sees Waffles and calls the jam off. I think Waffles might have gotten some points in there, though. 3 for Waffles there.
All right, Dash back out for Salt against Zen for Pepper. It's like Salt's going to be down a blocker. All right, we are right back into it. Dash to the inside. Zen momentarily to the outside, but opts to go for that inside track. Finds the hole, gets through. It is Zen for a lead for Pepper. Zen, some openings there, crashes hard into the pack. Gets down, right back up. Momentum halted at turn number 1. Got some points on the board, but not free of the pack. Meanwhile, it is Dash fighting hard as Fatal Air is going to bring back Zen all the way back down to the pivot line. Dash really putting the shoulder in and pushed it. But Zen is going to put up 4 points for Team Pepper. Meanwhile, the penalty box has cleared out. Zen slides in, gets to the outside. Now weaving back and forth. Dash having Mullet and Chemical X to beat just past turn number 2. Dash sees the inside and takes it. They are through the pack, and that is going to force Zen to call that off. They did get all 4 points on that, so that is an 8-point jam for Zen as we close into the final 4.5 minutes of our game.
Looks like an official review being called by Team Salt.
Definitely stay in your seats for the rest of this game, but before leaving, make sure you get those tournament T-shirts to commemorate Bonneville Beatdown 2026. Those are available at the concession stand. You do not want to leave without one. So there's only so many shirts left that are available, so you want to make sure you get one in your size. Buy one for some friends at home, too, that couldn't make it, or maybe just having to watch it secondhand, or they'll have to hear your stories about what kind of games were going down here, and you can give them a T-shirt and they can wear that and tell everyone how hardcore junior roller derby is.
And speaking of hardcore junior roller derby, in 2 weeks, our juniors are going to be traveling to Fontana for another tournament. Go support them if you can travel. That same weekend on the March 28th, BSR, the Beehive Skate Revolution, will have their first home team game here in the Derby Depot. A lot of good derby coming up. You won't want to miss it. Alrighty. So we've got a verdict. Salt will retain their review. They're looking for a cut track call on the jammer, and that did happen. So that is that. And out in the front, Apex Twin flying ahead will be the lead jammer. And the defenders take off. Apex Twin zigging and zagging, but knocked out of bounds there at the end by number 11. Great defense there by Painbow. So Apex Twin back at it, found an opening there. And here comes Zen back from penalty land, trying to get through on the initial pass. Apex Twin tries to fly over the apex and lands in it. Has to go back to the back of the pack and try again. Zen's having some trouble getting past all this traffic, but not to be stopped. They are going to try again. Apex Twin slips past the last defender for 4 more points. And we do have a star pass complete. So Painbow is the new jammer for Pepper. And Apex Twin calls the jam off. Can't blame him for not wanting to have a foot race here at the end of the game against Painbow.
All right, Phoenix back out for Pepper, and we have a new jammer for Salt, Belladonna, number 23. All right, Phoenix pushing out front, but it is Belladonna that gets out first. Phoenix is right behind, though. Your lead is Belladonna, Team Salt. Now it is a race. Both teams roaring around that track. Belladonna reaches the pack, slams into it, calls it off. Able to get 1 point out of that for Team Salt.
All righty, we're looking at 2 minutes and change left on the game clock. Chemical X is going to be jamming for Pepper up against El Diablo for Salt. And defenders settle into their positions. There's the whistle. Off they go. Chemical X to the outside. Diablo to the inside. Hip check there from Mullet, but Diablo's still up and running. Diablo is the lead jammer. Chemical X takes a tumble, pops right back up, back down with his pivot from Salt. Diablo pulled up short by the Pepper defenders. Little side-to-side action, shoved into the inside. Chemical X is up and at him, made it through the pack. Looks like we've got 1 Pepper blocker going to the penalty box. So, Chemical X on a scoring run. Slips through the inside for 4 points. El Diablo's coming around now for another scoring run. Scoring pass. Slams into the wall of Pepper defenders. Little help from the blockers. Chemical X slips through unnoticed there. Gets 4 more points. Diablo's got through. Gets their points and calls off the jam. With under a minute left on the game clock.
Yeah, we have time for at least 1 more jam. Painbow out there for Pepper, going up against number 31 of Salt. That is Trick or Treat.
And Pepper Jammers, or Pivot, is still in the penalty box.
All right, we are off on this possibly last jam of the game. Painbow to the outside. No, track cut for Painbow. So this is going to be an advantage for Salt as they take lead. They control the last 2 minutes of this game. Swinging around. Nice moves by Trick or Treater to dodge some blockers. Not able to get past the Mullet of but that is draws a directional penalty against Mullet. So Trick or Treater, I believe, has gotten all 4 points. Now just needs to get free of the pack. Salt's reforming quickly in front of them, and Painbow comes right off the bench, whips right on through, and that is going to force a call off. That is going to be your game. Our unofficial score as it stands is Pepper 167 to Salt's 134.
And folks, wait until that score changes to say final, and then you can come up to the track. That is it. That whistle means it's official. Come on up. Let's show some love for these athletes. Thanks for coming out to watch with us today. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, make sure to pick up your Bonneville beatdown t-shirts on your way out. Congratulate all these skaters for their hard work over the last 2 days. Today especially has been a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to call.
Yep.
Yeah, make sure to drive safe when you head back home tonight, and hopefully we can see you here in the future.